Hello there. Welcome to today's video, where we will be exploring the fascinating concept of hedonism. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is hedonism? Well, in a nutshell, hedonism is the philosophy that pleasure and happiness are the ultimate goals in life. It argues that the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain should be our guiding principles. So, let's dive deeper into hedonism and understand its origins and different perspectives. The roots of hedonism can be traced back to ancient Greece, where philosophers like Epicurus and Aristippus developed their theories around maximizing pleasure. Epicurus, for instance, believed that pleasure is the absence of pain and that it can be achieved through moderation and simplicity. Hedonism can be divided into two main categories: psychological and ethical hedonism. Psychological hedonism states that humans are naturally inclined to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It claims that all our actions are ultimately driven by the pursuit of pleasure. On the other hand, ethical hedonism goes a step further and asserts that not only should we seek pleasure, but it is also morally right to do so. Now, you might be wondering, are there any criticisms of hedonism? Absolutely. One common critique is that it neglects the long-term consequences of our actions. Critics argue that focusing solely on immediate gratification can lead to negative outcomes in the future. Additionally, some believe that hedonism places too much emphasis on individual pleasure and fails to consider the well-being of society as a whole. But let's not disregard the positives of hedonism. Advocates argue that by prioritizing pleasure and happiness, we can live more fulfilling lives. They highlight the importance of self-care, self-indulgence, and pursuing activities that bring us joy. While hedonism may sound like a thrill-seeking, self-indulgent philosophy, it is important to note that it encompasses a wide range of interpretations. Some proponents of hedonism argue for a balanced approach to pleasure, emphasizing the importance of long-term happiness rather than immediate gratification. Others advocate for a more extreme version of hedonism, embracing the pursuit of pleasure at all costs. Throughout history, hedonism has been met with both praise and criticism. Critics argue that hedonism is inherently selfish and superficial, promoting a shallow and impulsive way of life. They also question whether the pursuit of pleasure can truly result in lasting fulfillment. However, proponents argue that hedonism, when practiced responsibly, can lead to a more meaningful and satisfying life. It's worth noting that hedonism is not limited to individual pleasure-seeking. Hedonistic principles can also be applied to society as a whole. The idea of maximizing overall happiness and pleasure for the greatest number of people, known as utilitarianism, draws from hedonistic concepts. In conclusion, hedonism is a complex and fascinating philosophy centered around the pursuit of pleasure. Its interpretations and implications vary widely, with ethical and psychological perspectives providing different lenses through which to view this age-old concept. Whether you find yourself drawn to hedonism or skeptical of its merits, it undeniably provides fertile ground for deep philosophical exploration. So, go forth and contemplate the complexities of hedonism, and maybe even indulge in a few pleasures along the way.